Hello again, here I am back in the shed. Jolly cold, which is why I've not been out here quite so much as I might otherwise. Well, last time I spoke to you, I'd been trying out something which was quite adventurous for me, which was going to be a 3-block print. Now, as you remember, probably or not, this was going to be about rubble and kids playing in Gaza. And well, could be anywhere in the Middle East, to be honest. But I cut it and I'll show you the results. This was the first background. That was sheet 1. Large piece of lino, you'll note. I did a slightly lighter one because I thought it looked more like grey concrete, and that's not too bad. So I built up the layers, as I said I would. I went paler still, and that's my complete background. Now, I thought that's going to work okay, because I'm going to put the girls doing Ring a Ring of Roses over the top of that. So far, so good. So I did a little test print, and that's my girls doing Ring a Ring of Roses. And I wanted to print that transparent, but in my local shop I couldn't find anything to make the ink transparent, so I thought, well, I'll just try and do it as thin as I can. So all I had to do was print that on top of there, remembering I've already used 3 A4 sheets, so it's not the cheapest attempt at something, but it was something I felt strongly about. So anyway, that's just me personally. Anyway, I tried it. And I said I'd always be warts and all, and it didn't work. I tried it in black, it looked terrible. I tried it in yellow, it looked even worse. And I was going to give up. It was a completely bad job. I thought, well, all the work that went into that is a week's work, really. I thought, well, maybe I can save it. So I did another block, and I think I've kind of saved it. It's got a hopscotch game scratched out in the rubble. Now, it kind of works, not as well as I'd hoped, and it was a lot of lino to use up for an experiment, but that's how you learn. So there we are, warts and all. Didn't really come off that one. Anyway, obviously I needed cheering up having done that. So what do you do when everything is going wrong? Go spend some money. So you know how resistant I've been on spending money, and I've plodded my way through all of these. Everything I've done so far, I've done basically using this little lino cut. If I say little, it's like using a spade. Anyway, I knew what I'd have to buy, and I thought, well, I'll just buy 2 expensive cutters. And then you go, well, which ones? If you look up the expensive Swiss cutters, good luck at working out which is which, because me and loads of other people tried and didn't, well, I thought, well, I'll buy a set. Okay, that's 114 quid. That's a lot of money. But, I do take what I do. I may not take chatting to you very seriously. This is meant to be light-hearted, amusing, and a bit of fun. But I do take what I produce really seriously. I've painted, I do oil paints, I've done portraits, I've done landscapes. About a year ago, I took up watercolour. Some of those are pretty successful. But they sort of kind of feel like me. So as soon as I started doing lino cuts, I thought, actually, I don't know what anyone else is, but I thought I was pretty good at it. I think I've got a feel for it, if nothing else. So I went and bought some new cutters. And because this is a shed, as well as an art room, there's more shed than art room, I bought a set of these I can't remember how you pronounce it. Willy? No, I have no idea. But these are these Swiss, really nice professional cutters. As I say, they're expensive, but I got a shed, so rather than have them rattling around in a cardboard box, I made this nifty little stand for them, which I'm quite pleased with. Now, one of the reasons I needed to get these, as opposed to carrying on with what I was managing, albeit with difficulty, I was doing all right with it, this cutter, and I've sharpened it a few times. I had one of those diamond sharpener things that I think came from a supermarket actually, but I've managed to keep it reasonably sharp. But as your lino gets harder, these go blunter, and I thought, well, there's other things that I can't do with this. I can't do really fine stuff, so I thought it was limiting me a bit. So, well, that was my justification. So I bought these, and obviously I wanted to try them out, new toy and all that. So I've cut, this is some, 10-year-old lino I had kicking around, the brown stuff. Haven't seen that on sale for a while. It's like a piece of wood actually. But I could cut much finer on this. I did actually try it on a bit of the, soft cut. It was hopeless. It kept moving around. It was like trying to cut jelly. Anyway, I have had a go on this. This is the first block I've done with it. And I can cut much finer. In fact, some of these are really, really fine. In fact, there's one that I can't even see. It's so small, it's like trying to thread a needle with that one. But having on this one particularly cut some grass down there, you know what I mean, produce some grass cuttings or whatever you want to call them down the bottom, I realised I was going to have to get better at inking up, because I tend to put a bit too much ink on and make sure I get a good print, because I'm hand printing it and rubbing it down with the bottom of a glass. It's far easier to get a good print if you've got plenty of ink on. But the finer cutters you use, the more likely you are to fill in the cut marks. So, well, you know how many cut prints I've done in the last, couple of months. Obviously, I've got a bit better, so it's not proved to be quite as big a strain as I thought it might be. I've got better at putting it on thin. I'm still using the cheap ink. It says lino ink and it's water-based. And it, according to all the videos I see, it's not the best stuff to get the finest quality prints, but I'm quite pleased with it, and that's good enough for me. Anyway, I rather rushed this print because I wanted to play with my new cutters, obviously. So I took an old watercolour that I'd done, and I redid that as a lino print. So these are still wet. In fact, I only printed these off about 10 minutes before I got here. So that is my, it's a quoit. It's in Cornwall. And I think it's Trevilly quoit. And went to see it many, many years ago, probably 15 years ago. And I took a picture of it. And I worked from that. So this is completely original. I quite like that. I'm pleased with that again. But anyway, I guess I'm going to have to go, because I only tried that print out this evening, and I've got to go and clean my tools up. So until next week, have fun. I hope you have fun printing. It's Children in Need on the telly. Give them a few quid, and you can cut away whilst avoiding some of the worst singing and dancing, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, have a good life. See you again.